right now on ABC Big 2 News.
And at this time, we have 10 to 15 stolen vehicles and trailers.
Breaking news now at 10. We are following a massive crime bust in the basin tonight. Nearly a dozen people have been detained in West Odessa. The Ector County Sheriff just released new details about that seizure involving stolen cars and drugs. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Rob Took. We are getting updates from the scene tonight. Now, this video, tow trucks have just pulled in to take away some of those cars. 10 people have been detained. Now, apparently, the sheriff's office told us this. A man followed his stolen pickup truck and barbecue pit trailer to this house on the corner of Swan and Canyon in West Odessa. Their deputies later found 10 to 15 stolen cars, but there was more. About 100 pounds of marijuana was seized.
An individual in South Ector County observed some individuals stealing a barbecue trailer. He proceeded to follow these individuals. We come out here, we executed a search warrant, and we have about 10 individuals detained. We have not fully identified those individuals and feel like some of them may be illegal at this time.
Now, the sheriff's office is trying to get all of those cars back to their rightful owners tonight. The investigation continues. And as this local breaking news develops, stay up to date with the latest information on yourbasin.com. Developing now at 10 tonight, the United States is closely watching the threat of war in Eastern Europe. The image earlier showed President Biden meeting with the National Security Council earlier today, all of them seated in the Situation Room. They are monitoring the threat of war as the Russian military builds up on Ukraine's borders. President Biden said that U.S. intelligence tonight indicates Vladimir Putin has made a decision to invade Ukraine. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky with the latest.
In Ukraine's restive east, more worrying signs Russia has no plans to back down. Russia-controlled rebels made new and unsubstantiated claims of coming under threat from Ukraine. The U.S. and its allies believe they're lies, so Russian President Putin can justify an invasion.
He's been very deliberate in terms of assembling the right kind of combat and combat support capabilities, the kinds of things that you would need to conduct a successful invasion.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin told ABC News Russia amassed enough firepower to take the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv.
If he employs that kind of combat power, it will certainly create enormous casualties, within the civilian population.
Russia has denied plans to invade, but after test-firing nuclear-capable ballistic missiles, Russia extended military drills in Belarus instead of withdrawing its forces as planned, raising fears of an imminent invasion. Leaving a security conference in Germany, Vice President Harris said there is still hope for a diplomatic solution.
We are looking at a moment that is a very decisive moment. We are talking about the real possibility of war in Europe.
Today, French President Macron tried by phone to dissuade Putin from an attack. But according to the Kremlin, Putin expressed serious concern about a deterioration in eastern Ukraine and blamed Ukraine for it.
We still hope and wish that President Putin would make the decision to take the diplomatic path.
President Biden meeting with his national security team on the deteriorating situation. Diplomacy is the hope, but the U.S. believes war is the reality. As Secretary of State Blinken put it today, everything we are seeing suggests that we are on the brink of an invasion. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, Lviv.
Now to that deadly helicopter crash in California. New video tonight shows the wreckage of that police helicopter being pulled from the water. Now, one police officer was killed. Another was rushed to the hospital. Their helicopter crashed into a harbor. The officer who was killed is being identified as a 44-year-old veteran officer. And as ABC's Victor Okenda reports tonight, this is the second helicopter crash to happen this weekend.
This morning, an investigation into what went wrong. A police helicopter going down in Huntington Beach, California, trapping 2 officers, killing one of them. The other seriously injured after being rushed to the hospital. An emotional night for rescuers and first responders, including members of the Huntington Beach Police Department.
This is a difficult night for all of us.
The officer who died identified as 44-year-old Nicholas Vela, a 14-year veteran who leaves behind a wife and daughter.
an officer that was truly dedicated to his job, that was doing what he loved doing.
The other victim, a 16-year veteran. The helicopter crashing as the two were responding to a disturbance fight call going into the water, avoiding nearby neighborhoods.
Somehow, he managed to get it into the bay to save everybody's life. Because if he had landed on the house, there'd be a lot of casualties.
The NTSB now piecing together the final moments. This crash happening just hours after another chopper went down across the country. This one in crowded Miami Beach, packed for the holiday weekend. The helicopter with 3 people on board hit the water within feet of swimmers. A rescuer exclusively telling ABC News about the team effort to help.
We were able to get 6-7 rescuers to get in the water to assist also the bystanders pulling, the first victim out, the first patient onto the paddleboard. Then we were able to bring another patient out, and then the third one, which was the male, who was able to walk himself out.
That was Victor Oquendo reporting. Now, for the crash in California, the police officer in the hospital is listed as critical condition. His identity hasn't been released yet. The crash is under investigation. Now, the sister of Bernie Madoff was found shot and killed. Deputies in Florida say it was part of a murder-suicide. 87-year-old Sandra Weiner and her spouse, a 90-year-old man, were found dead from gunshot wounds in their home in Boynton Beach. Now, the motive isn't known right now, but the couple's lives was destroyed and was among those destroyed by Bernie Madoff's $65 billion Ponzi scheme. Bernie Madoff died in federal lockup last year while serving a 150-year sentence. Now to the death of a one-time modeling agent and associate of Jeffrey Epstein. Police say the man killed himself in a jail cell in France. He was facing a rape and sex trafficking investigation. And as ABC's Lama Hassan reports tonight, she has the latest in London.
French prosecutors confirming to ABC News one of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's close associates, Jean-Luc Brunel, was found dead in his cell in Paris's infamous La Santé prison. Guards finding him early Saturday morning. His lawyers say he died by suicide. Brunel was charged with the rape of minors over the age of 15 and sexual harassment in France. He was arrested in 2020 and maintained his innocence. Brunel, once a modeling agent, was suspected of scouting young women for Epstein. The pair seen here with Epstein's longtime friend Ghislaine Maxwell in a photo used at her recent trial, in which she was found guilty of sex trafficking crimes. One of Brunel's accusers describing his death as shocking and questioning the way he died, comparing it to Epstein's suspected suicide in a Manhattan federal jail cell in 2019.
This is too suspicious, like Jeffrey Epstein, he was a co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein, and he died in exactly the same way.
Now, Brunel's accuser says she is devastated that she and other victims will be denied closure and their day in court. As for the death of Jean-Luc Brunel, his lawyers tell ABC News his jail cell was not under surveillance and that he was not on suicide watch. We'll call this a close call. A Kansas City police officer's patrol vehicle was hit by a driver. Now 2 cars were pulled over onto the side of the highway. And rather, this is actually in Bonner Springs, not Kansas City. While the officer walked back to speak with another driver, that driver clearly lost control. The officer was able to get out of the way in time and is okay. But this video is being used to show why people need to slow down in icy conditions. And things are looking much different in the basin. No snow here. Taking a live look from our Midland camera tonight. It's a beautiful night, but a little bit overcast. ABC Big 2's Bridget Sarpong has a check on our weather tonight.
Now, your Big 2 forecast first.
That's right, Rob, and a happy Sunday, friends. Today's temperature is not bad for the basin. Right now, with that wind chill, it does feel a little bit chilly in the basin. Right now, we're sitting at 56 degrees for the Middle Odessa area. Definitely not too bad, but today's temperatures were much better than 56-degree temperatures. Today, West Texans were able to enjoy a high of 70 degrees. Usually around this time in February, we're definitely used to 65-degree temperatures. Today, we're warm, but not as warm as how we were back in 1986 when we were sitting at a nice and steamy 86 degrees. I'll have more of this new week's forecast later on the show. Back over to you, Rob.
Well, thank you, Bridget. It's back. An elite marathon returns to this Texas city after a year off. Just how fast were this year's winners? Plus, a massive fight broke out at the end of a college basketball game, what made this an unusual scuffle. And coming up, an explosive end to the Olympics. How many medals did Team USA walk away with? Find out right after the break. Stay with me.
One of these women is lying to my face.
This is so hard. Tears.
I made the wrong decision.
The Vineyard, Midland's premier master planned community, impeccable high-end luxury with resort-style amenities. These Silverleaf homes are located close to Green Tree Country Club and are walking distance to Faskin Elementary. Contact Alexa to schedule your private showing.
Hello, I'm Bob Mills, and did you miss it? I'm talking about the Bob Mills President's Day Free event with every mattress 32% off. So here's your last chance. Today, Monday, all mattresses, any size, any price, 32% off, along with 60 months to pay. Now remember, this Monday only, during the Bob Mills President's Day Free event, and you never have to worry about those dreaded shopper stalkers. 32% off. Unbelievable.
Bob Mills Sleep Spa.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
We all know that government should never spend more money than it has. That's why I passed a spending cap to ensure the state budget can never grow more than population times inflation. And I will continue to reduce your property taxes. I led the fight to increase the homestead exemption for every homeowner from $15,000 to $40,000, saving you thousands of dollars over your lifetime.
Dan Patrick, endorsed by President Donald Trump.
My complete and total endorsement.
Locals know the best way to control expensive water costs is to install their own water well. Since 1981, the JR's Water Well Service Team has been serving the Permian Basin, providing bids and same-day service calls you can trust for residential and commercial water wells. Our customers describe us as outstanding and professional, with a quick response time and expert knowledge. Trust the JR sticker seen all over West Texas. Call today for quick bids, same-day service, and to receive the Big 2 10% off anything offer.
Jewelers, located across the street from Target in Odessa.
Weather Authority. We warn you first.
Well, friends, it's a new week in the basin. Temperatures are looking really good. Today's temperature is warmer than normal. Today, West Texas were able to enjoy 10 degrees warmer in the Midland and Odessa area, 11 degrees warmer in Big Spring, Seminoles tied with Midland, Odessa, 10 degrees warmer as well. Our friends at Presidio was always nice and warm, managed to get 2 degrees warmer in the basin. But, you know, for the most part, everyone has increased their temperatures this same time 24 hours ago. Now, as we make our way into today, before we even saw the cooler temperatures, today West Texas were able to enjoy 70-degree temperatures. Usually around this time in February, we're definitely used to 65 degrees. Warm today, but not as warm as how we were back in 1986 when we enjoyed 86-degree temperatures. Today, our lows came in pretty warm. 1 degree warm, sitting at 39 for today. Usually around this time in February, we're definitely used to 38-degree temperatures. Not cold today whatsoever, like how we were back in 1955 when we were only sitting in the teens at 18 degrees. Definitely not too bad. Now, as we make our way into the evening, as the evening rolls around, it's going to continue to be warm. We will be sitting at 44 degrees. As we did see the sky cam, it is a little bit cloudy, so do be sure to take a little bit of a blanket and, you know, some binoculars to take a look at the stars if you want to take a look at them. Now, as we make our way into Monday, we're going to wake up at a dry 45 degrees with a little bit of some cloud cover. Then we get into noon, sitting pretty windy at at 74 degrees. And then we increase the temperatures to 4 p.m. Very warm at 77, but there's also going to be some rain coming into the basin. Then we close it out at 69 degrees, still cloudy and a little bit wet and moist for the area. Definitely not too bad whatsoever. Now, we do have a fire weather warning in effect, only because our temperatures will be sitting close to 80, our wind pretty high, going as fast as 20 to 30 miles per hour, and then our dryness sitting pretty dry at 10 to 50% dry of the area. So overall, putting us at a fire weather. Now, taking a look at what we do have going on, our winds are going to continue to be up in our faces into tonight, making our way over into Monday. So what I do advise is, ladies, hold on to those lashes, because by 4 p.m. on Monday, the entire Permian Basin will be seeing the double digits of wind travelage. 24 miles per hour in the Midland Odessa area, 17 miles per hour in Big Spring, 26 miles per hour in Guadalupe Pass. I want to bring our attention over down to Presidio. They will be sitting at 36 miles per hour around 4 p.m. If you are operating a heavy vehicle, mostly a semi, do be sure to take necessary precautions, because it can be hard to control with the winds going as fast as 20 miles per hour. Now, we do have a fire weather warning in effect because of the wind and how warm it's going to be until Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So do be sure to hold off on any kind of burning. Now, for our kiddos going to school tomorrow morning, by 8 a.m. we will be sitting at a nice and steamy 45 degrees, very cool and humid. But that 7-day forecast is going to show that we will be staying at a nice and steamy 80 degrees. Not too bad whatsoever. And Rob, a little bit of that rain, 40% chance of that. And then we get into Tuesday, we'll be sitting in our 70s. Then we cool on down come Wednesday, but not bad whatsoever.
You know what, Bridget? The last time it rained, it left my car covered in mud spots. I'm hoping this time it rains and clears it. I'm afraid it's going to do twice the damage.
It'll be okay. If anything, just take it to the car wash.
That sounds good. I appreciate it, Bridget. Thank you. Well, across Texas, the Austin Marathon is back for the first time since the pandemic began. Last year's race was canceled due to the coronavirus. This year, the marathon went on, but with safety measures in place, like staggered start times and required negative COVID-19 tests or vaccinations. We got to hear from this year's winners about the marathon.
I don't think in the marathon you ever know you have it until you're finished, because anything can happen, and if you have to walk, that's a minute or two.
It was pretty a good day. I can say a good day for me.
The winner's average pace was about 5 minutes per mile. The top overall time was 2 hours and 14 minutes. Fast. All right, well, the Olympic flame has been extinguished in Beijing. Fireworks filled the night sky as the 2022 Winter Olympics have officially come to an end. It marks the end of the most locked down games in Olympic history, the second Olympics to happen during a pandemic. Team USA is wrapping it all up with a total of 25 medals. Here's ABC's Alex Perchet with the latest from Beijing.
Fireworks lighting up the sky above Beijing's famed Bird's Nest Stadium as these 2022 Winter Olympics come to an end. Carrying the flag for the U.S. at the closing ceremonies, bobsledder Alana Myers-Taylor, an honor she missed out on at the opening ceremonies after testing positive for COVID and being forced to isolate. The four-time Olympian recovered in time to bring home 2 more medals, a bronze in the 2 women's bobsled and a silver in the inaugural monobob. But Michaela Schifrin is leaving Beijing without a medal. The world champion skier failing to finish 3 events and placing 9th and 18th in 2 others. In her 6th and final event of these Olympics, Schifrin was joined by Paula Maltzahn, Tommy Ford, and River Radamus in the mixed team parallel slalom. The Americans missing the podium by less than half a second, Norway winning the bronze. The 26-year-old with a message for her critics, writing, "Get up because you can, because you like what you do when it's not infested with the people who have so much apparent hate for you. It's not always easy, but it's also not the end of the world to fail." And Jessie Diggins, with the United States' 25th and final medal of these games, winning silver. She competed in all 6 of the cross-country events in these games. In addition to the silver, she also earned a bronze in the sprint. In the end, Norway is headed home at the top of the leaderboard with 37 medals, 16 of them gold, the most ever won at a Winter Olympics. The next games, the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. And the next Winter Games are in 2026 in the Italian cities of Milan and Cortina. Alex Perchet, ABC News, Beijing.
And we're joined now by Avi Carr-Gloth with sports. Avi, today there was a fight unlike anything in recent memory. Tell us about that.
Well, we've all seen fights in sports before. Players who maybe thought they were fouled too hard, another player showboating, or hockey. Just anything hockey. Something, though, that's not as common is when head coaches are the ones sparking the physical altercation. After Wisconsin's 77-63 win at home, Wisconsin head coach Greg Gard stopped Michigan head coach Juwan Howard in the typical post-game handshake line, but there were some heated words, some grabbing and pointing. Other players and coaches descended onto this emotional clash. Wisconsin assistant coach Joe Krabenhoft was one of the intervening parties before Howard took a swipe at him, hitting him right in the face. Both teams began pushing and shoving, and it appeared that players from both teams threw punches. The initial confrontation was a result of Howard taking exception to Wisconsin calling 2 timeouts in the last minute, including one with 15 seconds left, and the Badgers up 15. The Big Ten Conference said it would review the situation for swift and appropriate disciplinary action. Here's what each of the head coaches had to say after the teams left the court.
You know, I addressed with the head coach that I will remember that because of that timeout, and for someone to touch me, and I think that was very uncalled for him to touch me as we were verbalizing and communicating with one another. So that's what ended up happening, and that's what escalated it.
And he came up to me and pulled his max down and said, "I'll remember that." And he started pointing at me and tapped me in the chest. And I said, "Hold on. Let me explain to you why I took the time out." That's where it started, that he said, "I'll remember that, I'll remember that." And I said, "Hey, let me tell you why I did what I did." And he didn't want any part of it and kept moving on.
All right, well, sticking with the college circuit, the UTPB Falcons, they were on the diamonds today, both softball and baseball. In softball, freshman Cynthia Ang pitched 4 1/3 innings, allowing just 1 earned run, but the offense only mustered 3 hits. And after winning 6 in a row, the Falcons have now lost back-to-back games. Meanwhile, for baseball, Oswaldo Godina and Garrett Thornton each hit their 4th home runs of the season. But after taking an early lead, Falcons pitching, they couldn't slow down St. Edwards, and UTPB drops their 6th game in a row. Over to college basketball, Houston and Wichita State, under 15 seconds left to play. We're tied at 56. Jamal Shedd misses the 3. Houston gets it back. Shedd misses again. Ricky Council will heave it at the buzzer for Wichita State right here. Oh, and that was close. We're going to overtime, and then in overtime, we're tied at 66. Ramon Walker, the 3 to win. It's a bit short. We're going to double overtime. And then in double overtime, tied at 71. Walker dives for the loose ball. And Josh Carlton gets the ball here and 1. Houston goes up 3, but Wichita State would tie it. And tied at 74, Shedd goes the length of the court, dishes to Jawan Roberts for the dunk. And Houston prevails in double OT, 76-74. And oh my goodness, Rob, if this is a preview what's to come for March Madness, I mean, come on, it's the sports fan's dream. You excited for that?
Yeah, bring on the madness, Avi. I want to say the safe bet every year for me, always Villanova, Gonzaga. How about you? What are you thinking?
I don't know. I mean, they've definitely had a good, strong seasons, but I mean, this is a very flat, field, I guess we're talking. A lot of good teams from the Big 12 as well. So anybody's game as per usual.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite, I'll just say it right now, UCLA.
Oh, boy. All right, we'll call back the tape when you're wrong or right on this.
All right, well, thanks, Avi. Appreciate it. President's Day is giving an extra day off from work, and retailers want you to spend it shopping. Coming up, the deals you need to know that won't break your bank. And as we head to break, a reminder that if you see news happening, share your videos and photos on social media with us. Make sure you use the hashtag ABC Big 2 News, and if you haven't done it yet, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We are ABC Big 2 News.
A fresh start begins with fresh choices, like choosing to save more with Suddenlink. Get reliable, high-speed, 1 gig internet for just $49.99 a month. With it, you'll get a $200 Visa prepaid card, HBO Max included on us for 1 year, and a free Suddenlink stream with your favorite shows and streaming apps all in one device. choose to start fresh by saving more on our fastest speed. Plus, as part of optimum flexibility from Suddenlink, there are no contracts or hidden fees. And unlock even more value when you combine with Optimum Mobile. Visit suddenlink.com today.
What has your debit card been doing for you lately? Is it earning you any money? How about rewards? Because with the Kasasa Rewards checking account at MTCU, every swipe on qualifying transactions earns you cash and rewards. For added convenience, cardholders have access to over 30 free ATMs throughout the Permian Basin. We also refund a portion of monthly ATM fees to our qualifying Kasasa members. Stop by one of our branches and find out how you can earn money back by opening your Kasasa Rewards checking account. MTCU, your partner in lending, your partner in life.
An attorney general who has really led the way, somebody who has been brave and strong, Ken Paxton, my complete and total endorsement.
Ken Paxton is America's most conservative attorney general. When Joe Biden stopped deporting illegal immigrants, Ken Paxton took them to court and won, and a federal judge ordered deportations to continue. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, defending the Constitution, protecting our freedom.
Repeat after me. Apple, table, penny.
Apple, bread.
I remember watching Dad with the kids and thinking, geez, in 6 years, will he even know who they are?
Ask me again.
1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Learn more today at brightfocus.org.
Watch Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Beck from Westex on Good Morning Basin.
Well, tomorrow we celebrate the birthdays of our forefathers. President's Day is attracting a lot of major sales, and retailers know that. Shoppers have an extra day to go out and shop. ABC's Deidre Bolton has more on the brands that want your attention and your cash.
At a time when inflation is rising and everything from food to fuel to heating costs more, there may be a silver lining to shopping right now.
Retailers ordered a ton of goods for this holiday season, and it all got stuck on boats. But those goods are getting unpacked and getting put in the stores right now, and retailers are going to have to offer deals in order to sell through all of that.
Clothing and fashion and beauty as well are very giftable items that retailers probably had ordered for the holidays. A lot of that stuff didn't make it in time.
That opportunity, along with the other President's Day weekend savings, may offer a much-needed financial break.
We generally see clothing retailers doing a lot of clearance sales during President's Weekend, up to 70% off. So sweaters, coats, long pants, jeans, anything that's heavier and bulkier because they're stocking for spring and starting, right around now. So they want that stuff out of there.
From mattresses to kitchen appliances to furniture to electronics, there are deals to be had.
President's Day is really themed around the home.
On that note, Bed Bath & Beyond offering up to 50% off essentials. Best Buy, appliances large and small are on sale, from fridges to air fryers. Macy's offering deals on mattresses, furniture, rugs, and more. If you're still fixing up your home, home improvement stores are offering bargains too. Home Depot, up to 40% off many items. Lowe's, deals on major appliances to bath fixtures to flooring. Another category where you can find good deals?
It's also a really good time to get clearance clothing, so clothing that's just about to go out of season.
Adidas has 30% off sneakers, activewear, and more. Athleta has newly on sale activewear styles that are up to 50% off. Sperry is offering an extra 40% off sale styles. And Under Armour, 30% off cold weather gear with bigger discounts at its outlet. Expert tips?
Start as early as you can. I think, President's Day is technically Monday, but really it's a weekend affair.
And that was ABC's Deidre Bolton reporting. Now coming up, it was a dream wedding tonight in the Basin. Meet the bride and groom who were gifted the wedding worth thousands of dollars. We'll be right back.
ABC Big 2 Sports, brought to you by Glasheen Valles and Enderman Injury Lawyers.
1,900 miles of a divide between two countries.
I've been living in this county for almost 40 years. I've never seen it like this.
Only on News Nation.
For the people crossing, it just doesn't stop.
Thank you. Showing you the untold stories at the border crossings. Giving a voice to Americans living in a time of turmoil.
Join us for our exclusive border report right here.
The impactful stories at the border. Border Report. Communities in Crisis. Starting tomorrow on Morning in America.
When we say no store does more, it's because our produce partners are always doing more. Sourcing fresh fruits and vegetables, selecting for the perfect ripeness, and offering convenient, freshly cut produce that makes it easy to grab and go. Because when we do more, snack time takes no time, which means more family time. No store does more than my H-E-B.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
We all know that government should never spend more money than it has. That's why I passed a spending cap to ensure the state budget can never grow more than population times inflation. And I will continue to reduce your property taxes. I led the fight to increase the homestead exemption for every homeowner from $15,000 to $40,000, saving you thousands of dollars over your lifetime.
Dan Patrick, endorsed by President Donald Trump.
My complete and total endorsement.
Join us for the Power of One Luncheon and Style Show, February 24th, presented by the Anwar family, benefiting CASA of West Texas. Don't miss guest speaker Jackie Davis as he takes us on his inspirational journey through the child welfare system. Topped off with a fashion show modeled by local youth from Fox 10 and Studio Soho. CASA of West Texas recruits, trains, and supports committed volunteers who advocate for child abuse victims in 7 West Texas counties.
Well, tonight was a big night for a couple in the Basin. Stacy Huckabee and Mike Elliott won the Dream Wedding giveaway worth $40,000 a month ago. They finally got to say, "I do" tonight. We know the couple has had a really difficult year after losing Stacy's son in a car accident. Yet Stacy says her son is with her on this special day, and she is grateful.
Next week will be a year that my son has passed. So with it being in February, it's given us a month of excitement. Excited. It's a day of finally celebrating our love.
And we wish this couple all the happiness in their marriage. Also new at 10, dogs in New Orleans are now resting their paws tonight after the Mystic Crew of Barkus parade. This year's theme was Barkingham Palace. Barkus is going for the crown. This unique parade isn't like other Mardi Gras parades. Man's Best Friend is the center of this parade through the streets of the French Quarter, with their humans acting as their escorts. Dog owners who attended say the Crew of Barkus is one of their favorite parades and are excited it's back. We will be back too.
Texas is a very, very special place, and we're going to keep it the way it is.
That's why President Trump's backing Kevin Sparks for Texas Senate. Trump says Sparks will defend our border and keep Texas strong.
What we cherish today can be gone tomorrow. I'm Kevin Sparks. We can't surrender our southern border. Since Biden won't step up, Texas must.
Conservative Kevin Sparks.
I am giving him my complete and total endorsement.
Locals know the best way to control expensive water costs is to install their own water well. Since 1981, the JR's water well service team has been serving the Permian Basin, providing bids and same-day service calls you can trust for residential and commercial water wells. Our customers describe us as outstanding and professional, with a quick response time and expert knowledge. Trust the JR sticker seen all over West Texas. Call today for quick bids, same-day service, and to receive the Big 2 10% off anything offer.
We know these roads and drive them too. From the big trucks passing through on the interstates to the oilfield traffic in the Permian Basin. At Glasheen, Valles, and Inderman Injury Lawyers, we handle big crashes, especially those involving big trucks. We know that it's important to investigate immediately before critical evidence disappears or witnesses' memories fade. For catastrophic injury or wrongful death, call the people you know. Glasheen, Valles, and Inderman Injury Lawyers.
Choose a spokesbird. They're not your typical eye care company. I'm not your typical penguin. We're a team. There's no I in eye care. Wait.
Get 2 pairs of glasses plus a free eye exam, anti-glare lenses, and same-day service for only $79.
Well, friends, let's take one last look at that 7-day forecast. Tomorrow's going to be warm, but it's also going to be rainy. So do be sure to have your rain gear, but also throw in some shorts, Rob.
Absolutely, Bridget. Good advice right there. And that's all the time we have for news tonight. Good Morning Basin starts tomorrow morning at 5. Good night.